we pulled a 40-foot cultivator over a tarp and scraped all the loose soil off that we could, and it was over 100 pounds. On a four-wheel drive tractor, it was over 600 pounds as mud and dirt builds up between the duals and on the back of the equipment. So lots of soil moves around on equipment, and that's the primary risk for the spread of clubroot.
The Canola School on realagriculture.com is brought to you by Alberta Canola Producers Commission, Sask Canola, and Manitoba Canola Growers.
Okay, so we are here with Mike Harding, research scientist in plant pathology with Alberta Agriculture and Forestry, and today you showed us a bit of a demonstration about cleaning equipment and sanitizing equipment. Why should producers be considering this at all?
Yeah, sanitization of equipment can be a really valuable way to reduce the level of spread of pests of all kinds from field to field. And so we were here today specifically talking about preventing the spread of clubroot, but these sanitization and biosecurity principles will help growers reduce the spread of weeds, insect pests, nematodes, all kinds of viruses, all kinds of problems that even sometimes we aren't aware are there. We can sort of prevent them from moving around unnecessarily through equipment sanitization and biosecurity.
You mentioned moving from field to field. How often should we be considering cleaning our equipment?
So the highest risk situations are where we should really prioritize and focus our efforts. So for example, if you know there's a field that has a noxious weed or an insect pest, or like today we're talking about clubroot. If you know you have a clubroot infested field, when you exit that field, you're going to want to make sure that there's sanitization and cleaning done to prevent the spread of clubroot from that field to another one. So that's where you'd prioritize. But as a general rule, where possible, sanitization should be used because we don't always know exactly what's in the soil or associated with the crop debris. And so it can be a valuable way to prevent spread of things that we don't even know are there. So it's a general practice that should be considered for every field, but in cases where we know there's a noxious weed or a regulated pest like clubroot, those are the priority situations that we'd want to focus sanitization efforts toward.
And you mentioned 3 steps in the process, doing a rough cleaning, a fine cleaning, and then a disinfectant. So let's go through each one of those steps. What does a rough cleaning look like?
Sure. A rough cleaning is where you would scrape or kick or bang off as much dirt as you can off the equipment. And so with the disc that we had here, we could kick the pans, we could hit them with a shovel or use a long-handled scraper to scrape off as much of that soil and crop debris as possible. So that's really step one. And that's not fun work and it's not always easy work, but unfortunately when it comes to preventing the spread of clubroot in soil, removing soil is the only way to do it. And so we can remove up to 70, maybe even 80 or 90% of the risk by scraping off all of the soil that we can. And that's a huge amount of risk that's eliminated just through a rough cleaning. So even though it isn't fun, it is the only way. Removing soil from equipment is the only way that we can remove the risk of spreading these things from field to field.
And step 2 is fine cleaning. What does that one look like?
So fine cleaning is with the pressure washer. And so as we showed with the disc, the pressure washer did a much better job of cutting through some of that soil that was caked on or in really difficult to reach areas of the equipment. And the fine cleaning can get us up over 90%. So we can remove 90 to 95% of the soil with the rough and the fine cleaning steps. And so in that case, then up to 95% of the risk has been eliminated because we've left it in the field where it originated.
And both of those steps are critical for the 3rd step?
Exactly. So if you're going to disinfect, you have to do the cleaning first. So by applying a disinfectant to soil, the disinfectant is very quickly inactivated and it won't kill the spores or the insects or the weeds. So the biocides that we use are very sensitive to organic contaminants like dirt. So the cleaning is essential. And then if we choose to disinfect, we apply that to a clean surface. We apply at a full rate, a full dose, and we make sure we have 10 to 15 minutes of contact time. And once we've done that, we can get up over 99% clean or sanitized.
Why the 10 to 15 minutes?
So those disinfectants have to have time to do their work. So the active ingredients don't instantly kill upon contact. It takes some time for them to get into the spores or coat the spores to the level at which they'll cause significant damage and kill them. So that contact time is necessary for the active ingredient or the chemical to do its work.
And specifically with the resting spores of Clubroot, you were saying they're a bit stronger.
So you won't find too many things more resilient to disinfection than Clubroot spores. They have a very thick wall, and it's the reason they can survive so long in the soil. They're very resilient and can survive cold temperatures, warm temperatures, chemical challenges. So they're difficult to kill. And so, yeah, we need to use a full rate of disinfectant and make sure our contact time is sufficient.
When should we consider using a foaming agent?
Yeah, that's a great question. Things like detergents, which will help loosen debris, can sometimes be a valuable thing to use in your sanitization process. So if you have a piece of equipment that's really coated and caked with clay or debris, sometimes a detergent can help loosen that up and remove biofilms or all kinds of things. Foaming agents can do two things. They can sort of help drive the disinfectant into nooks and crannies and cracks. And the second thing is they can prevent the disinfectant from volatilizing or evaporating. So it'll increase the contact time. The work that's been done in the past has shown that on hard metal surfaces like farm equipment, the foaming agents don't really give much of a competitive advantage. But on porous surfaces like wood in, say, a potato storage or another sort of a storage environment, sometimes the foaming agents can really help boost the efficacy of the disinfectant. But on the metal surfaces, we haven't seen a large boost in efficacy using the foaming agents.
It sounds like all of this is quite a bit of work. Is it worth it?
That's a great point, and it really does come right down to that question you just asked. It is a lot of work. It's not fun work. It's hard work, and it's nobody looks forward to doing it. So why on earth are we recommending it? The reason we're recommending it is because we don't have any other way to prevent the spread of clubroot from field to field. If there was another message we could preach that would help spread clubroot, we would. But this is it. And so there's plenty of other situations in farm operations that are like this, where even though it isn't fun, we have to do it to get the job done. This is the way we get the job done when it comes to preventing clubroot spread.